Morning all. Few little matters to discuss today, but we'll see how we go on. I might go over the time that I try and give myself. Anyway, this little beauty is Ian Nord, Cheshire police officer, been grooming girls and raping girls and what have you. He's just been found guilty and waiting sentence next month. Well, he's going to get plenty, isn't he? About 30 offences. But then, of course, we've got acting chief constable Jeanette somebody or other, Jeanette McCormick of Cheshire Police is the acting chief constable. She's agreed that perhaps they should have vetted him before they took him on, and they've tightened up their procedures. Well, that's fair enough, isn't it? But when you look at this website, and you see that there's 30 pages with 30 incidents a page going back 208 to 218, you see that there's hundreds of police officers who should have been vetted, all committing grooming, paedophile offences, robberies, keeping brothels, burglaries and everything else. Well, perhaps they should have been vetted a little better as well. But onwards and upwards, Cheshire Police, especially now with a lovely lady in charge. Who was it that said Welsh police only get sheepshaggers? Oh, it was me. Anyway, they're branching out now. They've got a team, a family of 4 bus drivers running a bus company, and they've fiddled the council out of 90 grand by pretending to be pensioners and claiming it back off the council. Well, they've been given a total of 25 years between them. So Welsh police have taken it very seriously and been supported by the courts. Now, you think, well, that's fair enough, but when you think there's been 131 deaths in London and nobody's been brought to justice, so perhaps we should have the same effort everywhere, don't you think? Police in Northamptonshire just taking time to have a brew. And what happens? The Starbucks they're in gets robbed. So they chase the chap, catch him, and he gets 6 years. And lo and behold, Detective Inspector Adam Pendlebury of Northamptonshire Police said, "This serves as a reminder that it's not such a bad thing when police officers manage to take their well-earned breaks when out on a shift. They are never really quite off duty." Well, we should make up his mind, that's a bloody conflict. Anyway, they should tell the officers at McDonald's. On Stockport Road in Manchester that to keep their eyes open. They might catch a criminal. Fit men, and there's one here, last longer at sex than men who don't go to the gym. If you do 40 minutes now and again on a running machine or whatever, you'll last 6 minutes 30 seconds. But if you don't, you'll only last 3 minutes, suffering premature ejaculation. Now, the fit time seems to leave a bit to be desired. I would have been embarrassed at 5 minutes, to be honest. Perhaps not so much now, of course. Beggars can't be choosers. But what's the world coming to? At the gym, Bernard Del Soldato, pictured here, He's still super fit, driving everybody mad with his Rottweiler training sessions. But of course his counselling is taking off now, and we're having to help him in this little column. He keeps getting letters, and he's just had one recently off a lady. And dear Bernard, I'm a lady driver, and I tune the radio without watching the road. I put my makeup on. I eat sandwiches, drink a drink, and never say thank you at junctions when people let me in or let me out. And I don't let anybody out. And now I'm being criticised. What can I do? Well, Bernard's replied immediately. What you can do, and you won't have any troubles, is drive a train, because they're now recruiting lady train drivers because the balance is wrong between men and women. Now, they have them in India. And they have them in Hull. So, there you go. Not too happy about being driven about by an Indian woman, to be honest, but they tend to get a bit distracted, don't they? Mind you, I suppose they all do. Anyway, ladies, there we are. Best of luck from Bernard. On for the Green Brigade. A lot of city centres now, including Paris, are insisting on smoke-free areas and only electric cars, and so you have to show a preference of using Uber, whatever they're bloody called. Anyway, it's all right, that, fair enough, but if they're anything like the Uber drivers in Manchester, you'll end up walking around stinking of cigarette smoke and curry. But keeping the planet green, what more? Looking at curry, but keeping the subject serious for a minute, this is a photo of poor little Megan Lee. And the Indian restaurant and the owners who gave her nuts in a curry. She had a serious asthma attack and died because they hadn't been properly trained in the preparation of food and allergies. So the judge gave them prison for manslaughter, only 2 years, because they were showing remorse. Well, wouldn't anybody looking at Nick? Anyway, what more do you have to teach them? We just got them right about having it off with the cousins, and now they don't know about putting nuts in curries. We're going to end up driving trains next. This is Charles Bronson, mentioned in the last work of art. He was up for trial for trying to bite the nose off the governor. Well, he's been found not guilty. His defence that he wouldn't do it because he was a vegetarian and he was only giving him a hug seems to have stuck. But what caused this? Well, the governor, being petty, wouldn't allow him to put photos of his girlfriend up, or now his wife, but soon to be divorced lady. But anyway, past the point that. And wouldn't let him put up, and he's now doing, anyway, another 44 years for assaulting prison staff. Don't you think if they just left him alone and let him do these little things that he wouldn't assault anybody anymore, and he might be able to get out, because he's 66 already, spent nearly all his life in prison. As the Sun calls him, notorious. Well, there you go. Good luck, Charles. Well, Bernard's been busy with his marriage counselling and affairs and everything else, and he's had another letter. Dear Bernard, I can't seem to find a girlfriend, and I just need a sexual encounter. What can I do? Well, Bernard writes back, well, dear writer, try the world's first oral sex robot. Now I'm reading this because it's just too good to be true. It's called the Autoblow A1, and it was developed in the United States after they watched 108 hours of video porn. Well, goodness gracious. They say the device for men, yet to be patented, learns a user's desires, then moves accordingly. It has 10 speeds and gives a quieter experience that won't alert people to your activities. Well, good luck with that. And be careful with the speeds, because if you can't stand the heat, don't get in the kitchen. Thank you, Bernard. Well, by now you will have gathered that I'm not too keen on mass immigration, but I think in this case it needs a bit of attention. This is Asia Bibi. She's Pakistani and she's a Christian, which is a very low minority in Pakistan because they suffer such terrible abuse, but she won't give up the religion. And she was found drinking from a public water fountain and spent 8 years in prison on remand. And now she's had a trial. She's been released. And now she's got howling mobs threatening to lynch her, and she's applying for political asylum to this country and being ignored. You know, they're obsessed with Brexit and they can't save somebody's life. Tossers. Anyway, that's all for now. Night all.